Depression. Everything seems to be fine, but inside, there is a big void. There is no energy. There is no hope. Even waking up in the morning feels heavy. Depression is not a low mood. It is a shakeup of the brain chemistry. Anxiety disorder, fear of the future, but without knowing why. A constant tension, an inner restlessness, a state of alertness. The mind is obsessed with the question, what if? It is a mental disorder in which a person experiences intense, constant, and uncontrollable anxiety, despite the absence of a real threat or danger. This condition deeply affects the person's thoughts, body, and daily life. Bipolar Disorder. One day, you are at the top. The next day, you are at the bottom of the collapse. Hyperactive and unplanned during mania. Disconnected from life during depression. This is an unstable oscillation of mood. During this phase, one may feel unusually energetic, overly cheerful, or arrogant. Ideas flow quickly and conversations speed up. The need for sleep is reduced and the person may embark on large, obsessive disorder, often unrealistic projects. The mind reproduces the same thought over and over again. It becomes imperative to wash your hands, to check something, to reach a certain number. This is not just rigor. This is the domination of obsession. This cycle can be extremely mentally, physically exhausting for the person. Medication can reduce the severity. Obsessions by regulating brain chemistry. Post-traumatic stress disorder, psychological disorder that occurs after events that shake a person deeply. It can develop after traumatic experiences such as war, natural disasters, attacks, or accidents. Even after the trauma is over, its effects may persist for a long time. The most common symptoms are as follows. Flashback, feeling like reliving the event. Nightmares and fears. Avoidance behaviors. Excessive alertness, anger, insomnia. Emotional numbness. Schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is a serious mental disorder in which the perception of reality is distorted. The person may hallucinate, hear voices that are not there, and experience paranoia. Contrary to popular belief, it is not a multiple personality disorder. Schizophrenia profoundly affects the way you think, feel, and behave. With early diagnosis and treatment, symptoms can be controlled. But the biggest problem remains: being misunderstood and left alone. Eating disorders. Eating disorders are not just about food. It is a reflection of body image, a sense of control and emotional pain. Anorexia, bulimia, or binge eating disorder. Each one silently consumes both body and soul. What looks like weakness on the outside is in fact a screaming storm raging on the inside. But remember, this silence can be overcome with treatment. You are not alone. There is help. There is hope. Borderline personality disorder. Borderline personality disorder (BPD) is a personality disorder that causes an individual to have severe difficulties with self-perception, emotional regulation, human relationships, and impulse control. The term borderline was used in the past because it was thought to be somewhere between psychosis and neurosis. Today, BPD is defined as a complex psychological condition experienced by individuals who have difficulty coping with intense emotions. Dissociative identity disorder, known as multiple personality disorder, is a rare but highly complex mental disorder in which an individual has two or more separate identities or personality states. These identities can affect a person's behavior, memory, thinking, and even physical perceptions. DID usually develops as a result of intense antisocial personality disorder. Antisocial personality disorder is a personality disorder in which an individual consistently disregards the rights of others, disobeys social rules, and has a severely impaired ability to empathize. It is usually manifested by behavioral problems that begin in childhood, for example, harming animals, lying, stealing, become more pronounced in adolescence and adulthood. Paranoid personality disorder. Paranoid personality disorder is a personality disorder characterized by intense distrust, suspiciousness in which the individual lives with the persistent belief that others have malicious intentions. These people believe that those around them will deceive, around harm or humiliate them will deceive. These beliefs are not based on concrete evidence. Agoraphobia. Agoraphobia is an anxiety disorder in which a person develops excessive fear, avoidance of certain places or situations, believing that it may be difficult to escape or that they will not be able to get help. Although it is often referred to as simply fear of open spaces, it is actually a much more complex mental condition than this. Mood dysregulation disorder is a psychiatric disorder in which a person has serious difficulties in managing their emotions. This disorder causes a person to have difficulty normalizing their emotions, overreacting, and often experiencing sudden mood swings. It most commonly begins in childhood and adolescence, but can also persist into adulthood. The emotions are often very intense. The person has great difficulty controlling them. Somatic symptom disorder is a psychiatric disorder in which a person experiences medically unexplained bodily symptoms and is excessively preoccupied mentally, emotionally, with these symptoms. The person often experiences symptoms such as real physical pain, fatigue, stomach problems, etc., but no medical cause can be found, or the cause is not sufficient to explain the severity of the symptoms. Munchausen syndrome is a condition in which a person deliberately fakes symptoms of physical or psychological illness or pretends to be ill through self-harm. In this syndrome, the person repeatedly uses the healthcare system to get attention, gain attention, or maintain the patient role. This is not lying, but a complex psychiatric disorder. Even if the person does not really believe that they are ill, they consciously play this role out of an inner drive. Histrionic personality disorder is a personality disorder characterized by an individual being overly emotional, constantly seeking attention. These individuals tend to exhibit dramatic, seductive, manipulative, and attention-seeking behaviors. At the center of their lives is the desire to be admired, noticed, and cared for. Sleep is a basic biological need that occupies. Sleep is a basic biology about a third of human life need that occupies. For some people, however, sleep becomes more of a struggle than rest. Sleep-related psychiatric disorders are disorders that negatively affect an individual's sleep quality, duration, or the process of falling asleep, often linked to underlying psychological. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like my videos. I love you very much. Take care of yourself.